because we are not shooting on a big camera. People like a former producer, Mr. Gibson, Jay Gibson over there, who's munching on a bagel, is on national television right now.
And he doesn't even know it.
Yeah, he doesn't even know it. That's David Shuster using a little live camera trick at today's debate. Hi, everybody. It's John Gibson bringing up my son, focusing the camera on my son, who's a Fox News producer. Now, why would Shuster be focusing on someone in the room named Gibson?
Because he hates you.
Well, he's going to hate me even more. I sent Jake a note a little while ago. Watch out. It's going to get ugly. Because he was on Scratch Scarborough's show, and he made 6 bold-faced statements that were so clearly in error, one must assume that he was actually willfully lying. There isn't one single statement from him that is true.
And how did they know, Joe, that the information he was providing was accurate? How did they know, first of all, that it was the waterboarding that got him to talk? And secondly, how do they know the information he was providing was accurate until they checked it out? It's just as likely that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed could have made up some information.
Well, no. Wrong, David Shuster. How do we know that it was waterboarding that got him to talk? Well, a CIA supervisor only identified by description, a red-headed supervisor, was allowed to witness the spectacle, a former intelligence officer told ABC News. The al-Qaeda mastermind, known as KSM, stubbornly held out for about 2 minutes, which is a really long time for this waterboarding. Quote, then he started talking and he never stopped. A current CIA official said that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed actually told interrogators the only reason he confessed was because of the waterboarding. Wrong, David Shuster. Now, another wrong, David Shuster, in that same bite, Shuster said, how did they know the information provided was accurate? Khalid Sheikh Mohammed claimed 31 plans. The ones confirmed include truck bombing the World Trade Center in 93, the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks against the United States, beheading American journalist Daniel Pearl in Pakistan, the plot to use shoe bombs to blow up 2 American planes, the Filka Island operation that killed at least 1 American soldier in Kuwait in 2002, Bali, Indonesia nightclub bombing in 2002 in which 202 people were killed, and a plot for a post-September 11th round of skyscraper attacks targeting the Library Tower in Los Angeles. Other confessions were of future plans, including bombing and assassinations, evidently that David Shuster doesn't believe would have come to pass.
And the intelligence agencies tell us that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed provided us a treasure trove of intelligence and gave us a lot of information that actually helped us make more arrests, helped us save more lives.
They're not talking about all the people who provided false information and false leads and all the time we wasted chasing down ridiculous information because we were waterboarding people.
Wrong, Shuster. All the people we waterboarded, there were 3. There wasn't all. It didn't take even a gallon of water. It didn't take as long as 3 minutes total elapsed time for all 3. There weren't all the people we waterboarded, number 1, lie. Number 2, all the time we spent chasing down false leads, once again wrong. After an in-depth search, there are virtually no mentions, articles, or studies that indicate the U.S. government was sent off chasing down false leads from Abu Zubaydah or KSM. With the noted exception of David Frumpkin of the Washington Post, who provided no proof, there is plenty of proof that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed did the things he claimed he did and claimed to have planned. The CIA operative John Kirikou claimed everything Abu Zubaydah claimed actually panned out. Should I go for wrong number 3?
Well, you know, Joe, I've actually seen a tape of waterboarding. I've actually read about the guy from the Justice Department who went over and had himself waterboarded to examine whether it was torture and said, without a doubt, waterboarding is torture.
That is Shuster wrong again. Actually, according to ABC News and the Associated Press, man's name is Levin, concluded that waterboarding could be torture unless it was performed in a highly limited way, like on the 3 people we're discussing, and with close supervision, as Agent John Kirikou admitted it was. And, he said, Levin believed the Bush administration had failed to provide clear guidelines for its use, which it turns out it did, according to Kirikou.
He did not say that waterboarding was torture. What he did say was that he was afraid without the proper guidelines and without the proper techniques applied, the way the Bush administration was administering it, that it could possibly be torture.
So in other words, if they're pouring 1 gallon of water down the guy's throat as opposed to 3 gallons of water, that's a distinction, and therefore it's possible the Bush administration could misuse it. Come on, Joe. You know
David Shuster! Wrong. In actual fact, no one is pouring 1 gallon or 2 gallons of water down a person's throat. Water is not poured down anyone's throat in any amount. It is simulated drowning. And Kirikou explained what happens. The water doesn't go in the mouth or in the nose, but you're made to feel as though it is. And it is nowhere near the amount of water involved at Shuster. A gallon.
If it's in such a controlled environment, if it's so successful, and if it's something we can all be proud of, let's show the tapes. Let's show the American people, here's what we're doing.
The problematic thing with the tapes, David Shuster, is David Shuster. Why destroy the tapes? Because of David Shuster. Because of the New York Times. Because of Frank Rich. Because of Bathtub Boy. The CIA told congressional leaders of both sides they planned to destroy the tapes 2 years before they destroyed them. The CIA lawyer told the CIA to destroy the tapes. The only person to formally ask them to not do that was Jane Harman and the White House. The real reason is you, David Shuster. A Google search of David Shuster and Abu Ghraib, 7,380 hits. David Shuster and Waterboarding, 33,600 hits. Can you imagine what David Shuster would do with the tapes of Waterboarding?
You were making the suggestion that whatever the United States government does, whatever our army does, that we have a responsibility to release it to the world. Listen, at the end of World War II, after the Germans were already ready to surrender, we firebombed Dresden. We killed tens of thousands of little children and mothers. We didn't have to do that, but we were sending a message to Germany. Do I want to see videos? Do I wish I would have seen videos of these people being burned in the streets of Dresden at the end of World War II when we really didn't have to firebomb Dresden? No, I do not.
Applause for Scratch.
Finally. Even he's had enough.
It's coming in the building without taking the morning draught of Kool-Aid over there.
Waterboarding is torture. If you believe that America should torture, fine, waterboard them, drill them in the kneecaps, shoot their legs off, whatever you want to do.
You just redefined waterboarding as torture and then just said that it suggested that I wanted to shoot people in the kneecap.
You know, Angry Rich just raised a question. Can you imagine a Fox News Channel correspondent, not one of the anchors, not one of the show hosts, not the Bill O'Reillys, but the Major Garretts, the Carl Camerons, engaging in that kind of incredibly biased, error-ridden argument with a show host?
No, because they're not hacks.
Shuster says shoot them in the kneecaps. He is conflating there the tightly controlled waterboarding procedure of 3 people, Abu Zubaydah, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and one other lucky guy, comparing that to shooting people in the kneecaps to get information out of them. He calls himself a reporter, but he blew this just like he blew the Karl Rove is about to be indicted screw up. Karl Rove now writes for Newsweek, which is a partner of David Shuster's MSNBC.
Keep it real on the daily.
Damn, I'm so hood.
John Gibson on Fox News Talk.